Hey Ashley, it's great to see you again. How have you been doing since the last time I saw you?
I've been doing pretty good. Um, Still kind of going through some of the same stuff we talked about, but I'm okay.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing good overall. And I'm definitely glad that you came back, especially if the same things are still happening and you're still feeling kind of the same way as you were before. Um, so today I was kind of just hoping that we could kind of start where we kind of left off during our last visit, just so I can continue to get to know you and a little bit more of your background a bit better, so we can continue working together and coming up with a good plan of action for what it is that you're looking to achieve and envisioning yourself for your future. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Um, so, something I kind of just wanted to go over with you that I didn't really get to touch base on last time, and feel like it'd be a great way to kind of get a little more insight on what actually it was that brought you in, that made you feel like you wanted to come in last week, as opposed to a few weeks ago or a few months ago. What really gave you that push to want to come in last week, opposed to a while back?
So, what made me want to come in this week? Is that what you're asking?
So during our first visit, what made you want to? What kind of pushed you to that final straw of you wanting to come in and get some help, as opposed to a few weeks before, a few months before? What was kind of like that final straw that made you want to come back or come to get some treatment?
I would just say like just the continuous problems with my ex,
Hmm.
the fact that it's just not really going away. So, trying to get on my own 2 feet again.
Okay. Was it like any specific kind of thing that mm, pushed that desire? Any specific thing that happened, or you were just kind of um, looking to? Um, so you're just kind of like ready to get your life. You
Just
said,
back on track, just in general with a lot of different areas,
okay,
just
the life back on track.
emotionally,
Okay,
mentally.
okay. There wasn't any specific thing that triggered it though. It was just you wanting to finally um, start feeling like yourself again, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Just like the fact that like me and him always fight all the time,
Hmm.
and then like we get back together like it's nothing, like nothing happened. I just felt like after a while it just became really overwhelming, and I just don't really feel like normal anymore. So I don't know. I'm just trying to work through that and try to figure out ways to just move on.
Okay, perfect. So ways to move on, get back to feeling normal. Awesome. Well, again, I'm really glad you came in, and um, I think that's fantastic, and definitely want to help you work towards achieving that. Also, I just kind of want to let you know today I'm going to be taking a few notes. It's just to make sure that I keep everything on track of what you're saying as far as basic information, to your emotions, to your feelings, and just keep all of the important information together and make sure nothing's left out and everything's kept accurate. So, it's just to make sure that's okay with you, just to take some notes, keep track of everything. Is that all right?
Hmm.
Awesome. Um, so today I kind of wanted to just start by going over a little bit about what was left on that intake assessment. Just kind of get a little bit deeper into that, um, especially the substance abuse things that you indicated on here. You did indicate that you have an active and periodic use of marijuana and alcohol. Is that correct? Is still correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to just kind of tell me a little bit about that? Um, how often and you know what's the reasoning is for that you use it? If there is any reasoning, just give me a little more information on that, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So I would say that like I smoked. smoked pot a little bit in high school.
Okay.
It wasn't like often or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I always had friends who were older than me, and like once they like went on to college, I started to hang out with like the older kids, and they just had more access to alcohol and things like that. So, um, I think that that's where it all like began.
Okay.
I would say nowadays, because my anxiety is pretty bad, I feel like it kind of calms me down a little more. It gives me the ability to kind of get through my day.
Gotcha.
I think that when I don't smoke, I like feel really anxious and just kind of stressed out. And I think that like smoking helps mellow me out a little bit more,
Okay.
especially with like all the stress that I'm under. So I think it like helps me feel a little bit more at ease because I'm very, very overwhelmed these days. So
Absolutely. It definitely sounds like there is a lot to be overwhelmed about. So, how about the alcohol use?
I mean, I would say that sometimes like when I'm out with my friends and things like that, I don't know. I would say like I'm like a social drinker. I wouldn't say that I have like an issue with drinking.
Sure.
I mean, I would definitely say that I spend more time smoking than I do drinking. I think that smoking has its like medicinal uses
Mm-hmm.
more so than drinking. So I don't really see anything wrong with smoking pot, in my opinion.
Okay. So just to kind of mellow you out, help your anxiety, help you get through the day, and then just kind of a social drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then if it's all right with you, is it okay if I ask a couple more questions about that?
Good.
So have you personally ever felt that you needed to cut down on your drinking or your drug use?
Um, Not really. I mean, I would say that like my uh, older relatives that know I smoke say like I spend a lot of money on weed, but I mean I don't really think that. I feel like if it helps me, then it's really not a problem. If it helps me kind of get by with all the stress that I have, I don't really think that it's a problem.
Okay.
I don't think I should cut down on it since nothing else is really helping me.
Okay. Alrighty. Have people ever felt annoyed by you criticizing, or criticized your drinking or your drug use?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Have people annoyed you by criticizing your drinking or your drug use?
Yes.
Okay. Um, Tell me a little bit more about that. How that came about, who, if you don't mind.
Well, I think that a lot of my like family members smoke pot, and I think that when they like comment on me doing it, it's really just like hypocritical. I think so. It's kind of aggravating to me.
Hypocritical. Alrighty. Have you ever felt bad or guilty about your drinking or your drug use?
Mm, Sometimes, yeah, I would say yes.
And what moments would you say that comes about? Like, what happens, or what do you feel, or what goes on that makes you feel that guilt about it?
Like I don't feel bad for doing it necessarily. I just feel, or like, I don't really. It's kind of a hard way to explain it, but I think that um, in terms of like me feeling stressed about money, like financially,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what makes me feel bad. Like makes me feel guilty. Like, oh, maybe if I didn't have this habit, then I would have extra money for things.
Okay, absolutely. It's great that you're aware of that. Um, and then, have you ever had a drink or use drugs first thing in the morning to steady your nerves or to get rid of a hangover or anything like that? You did kind of touch on the whole anxiety thing, but would you ever say it's something you do like first thing in the morning to kind of like bring down those emotions
Mm-hmm.
initially
Yeah,
at the start of the day?
I think like because I work so much and just I like have to mentally prepare myself to have to like kind of like deal with irritating people. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know that sounds kind of bad, but
No,
I feel like I have to like kind of prepare myself because it does trigger my anxiety sometimes when I have like really aggravating customers all day long. So,
absolutely. The customer service industry can be very hectic, especially when there's a lot of personal problems going on inside yourself as well. So
right.
I definitely could see that and wouldn't blame you for that, um, for feeling that way. So you said yes for this one. All right, awesome. Well, I really appreciate your honesty for all of that. Um, it's very helpful in helping us come up with a great way to direct your treatment, in order to come to the best possible outcome and hit every possible case scenario in your life that could be, um, affecting that. So we're going to move on now, to an addiction severity index. Now, just to let you know, this is a standard interview. All clients receive the same interview. Everything that we gather here is confidential, so you do not need to worry about that. We're going to talk about 2 time periods within this, assessment here. It's going to be both within the past 30 days and in your lifetime, okay? You do not have to answer anything if you do not want to. You're able to refuse it. You do absolutely have that right, um, especially if the question may make you feel uncomfortable or if it's too personal or painful for you. However, answering as many questions as possible, will assist in the development of a good, comprehensive, effective treatment plan to help you. Okay?
Okay.
So, the rating scale, just keep this in mind. 0 is going to mean not at all. It's going to be 0 through 4. 0 is not at all as far as how it affects you. 1 is slightly, 2 moderately, 3 considerably, and 4 extremely. So just keep those in mind throughout the questions, in this assessment. So we'll start by just getting some general information from you. Have you been in a controlled environment in the past 30 days at all? That means like jail, prison, alcohol or drug treatment, medical treatment, psychiatric treatment, anything like that.
No.
As far as medical status, has there been any times in your life where you've been hospitalized for medical problems?
No.
Okay. Are you taking any sort of prescribed medication on a regular basis for a physical problem? This can be anywhere from like medicines from your doctor that were prescribed.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Do you receive a pension for physical disability?
I do not.
Have you experienced any medical problems in the past 30 days, even just a cold or a flu or anything like that, especially anything related to your drug, to smoking weed or drinking alcohol or anything like that, any sort of medical issues, in the past 30 days?
No, like not that I can think of. I mean, I have like coughs sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
pretty frequently, but not to the point where I need like medication for it.
Okay, perfect. How troubled or bothered would you say that you've been by any of these medical problems? You really just addressed coughing, but in the past 30 days, have they been a big bother for you on a scale of the 0 to 4?
Not really.
Okay, so 0.
Oh, no.
You're okay. 0?
I would say 0.
All right, perfect. 0, and how important to you now is treatment for these medical problems?
I mean, it'd be nice not to have a cough all the
Mhm.
time, but I feel like that just kind of comes with the territory of smoking. So, I mean, I don't really think there's like a, what is it called? a resolution to that besides just to not. So I wouldn't really say I have too much of a importance on getting treatment for it. I don't know.
No problem. So 0 as well. All right, thank you, Ashley. We're going to move on to employment and support status. How many years of education have you completed? I know you did indicate on the intake assessment that you were in college. So how many years have you completed educationally?
This is gonna be my 4th year, so 4 years.
Your
In
fourth year in
college.
college? Okay. So total is 16 years. Awesome. How has that been, by the way? What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in nursing.
Nursing. That's wonderful. Any training or technical education completed?
Not yet. Not finished yet, at least.
Okay. What's in progress?
Just training to get actually, yeah, let's say yes. I got my CNA license.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Do you have a valid driver's license?
I do.
And do you have a car available for use?
I do.
Okay. Current occupation, excuse me.
I mean, a student, but also server.
Does anybody contribute to your support in any kind of way, as far as cash, food, or housing?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Does anybody else contribute to your support in any kind of way, like as far as providing you with cash, money, food, or housing?
No.
Okay. And no. And let's see. Okay, does anybody depend on you for the majority of their food or shelter?
Does anybody help?
No, does anybody depend on you?
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Have you experienced any employment problems in the past 30 days?
I would say like being late sometimes.
Okay, being late. Is there any particular reason that causes that, or is it just, the typical not getting enough sleep?
I think not getting enough sleep was just kind of how, all over the place my life is right now. But just like being unorganized in general, and I feel like that's one of my biggest things that stresses me out is that I'm not. I used to be very like structured, like always on time and everything, always, very organized, and I'm just kind of like the opposite right now.
Okay, absolutely. How troubled or bothered have you been by any of these employment issues in the last 30 days? 0 to 4.
Let's say maybe 3.
Okay, 3. And how important to you now is counseling for those employment problems?
Important.
Like for us to help you in this aspect of your life.
I would say it's up there with my priorities.
Okay, so like a 2, 3.
Oh, it's from the scale that you're saying. A 4.
Okay, 4. Awesome. Alrighty, so we've been through the employments. Alright, so we're going to get into alcohol and drugs, okay? So now, I know that you did indicate that you used alcohol and marijuana, but I'm just going to ask you, over all of them, and you're more than welcome to refuse to answer. But like I said, honesty will definitely help us in providing the best treatment plan for you. So as far as alcohol in the past 30 days, how many times have you used?
Alcohol. I would say 3 times. Oh wait, no, that's last week. 30 days. I would say about 16.
16. Okay, and then in your lifetime?
What was that?
How long have you used alcohol in your lifetime?
I'm sorry, I just can't hear you very well.
How many times have you used alcohol in your lifetime?
Oh, in my lifetime. How many times?
Just kind of, an average. It doesn't have to be exact. Just, you can give like a year's timeline. How many years, basically?
Oh, okay. I would say since I was 16, and I'm 22 now, so.
Okay. 16. So that's for 6 years. Okay, alcohol to the point of getting a buzz or feeling the effects of it. How many times in the past 30 days?
Past 30 days. Probably about half the time.
Okay.
So like, what did I say? 16?
It's about 8 out of 16 times. Awesome. Again, appreciate your honesty. And then in your lifetime, years?
Maybe like 1 or 2. Well, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say. Like, it just depends on my mood. Like, I think lately, because I've been really like sad, I've been getting drunk more than before.
Okay. Got that. Heroin?
Oh, I don't touch any of that stuff. I don't use hardcore drugs.
That's great. Methadone? Just gotta ask through all of them, just in case.
Oh, I don't use that either.
Okay. Any other opiates?
Nope.
Like Vicodin? Barbiturates?
Nope, none of that.
Sedatives, hypnotics, tranquilizers?
Nothing.
Cocaine?
Nothing besides alcohol and marijuana. That's about it.
Okay, no cocaine, no amphetamines, no hallucinogens, no inhalants.
No.
Okay. And for cannabis then, in the past 30 days, how many times have you used?
30 days. Probably every day the last 30 days.
Okay, every day, so 30. And in your lifetime, years?
Like, should I say like a year consistently?
Like when you started
the
using?
Last 2 years consistently.
Okay, last 2 years consistently. And when did you start using?
When I started drinking when I was 16, and it was like 17. That's when all my friends went to college.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 years consistently. And then how many days have, in the past 30 days, have you used both alcohol and marijuana at the same time?
Within what time period? Time span?
In the last 30 days.
I would say maybe 10 times.
10? Awesome. And then in your lifetime, try and kind of just give like an average amount for this one. How many times do you think you've done both at the same time?
Um, Probably within a span of 2 years.
Alrighty. So now, according to you, with this, or excuse me, um, okay, you're still using both of these presently, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Has there been any times where you've had delirium tremens from alcohol, um, which is like things like shaking or severe disorientation or fever, hallucinations?
No.
Okay, you haven't. Have you ever overdosed on anything or blacked out from drinking?
I've blacked out probably like my whole life, probably like 4 times, but I
Okay.
don't try to get to that point. Like I get really drunk, but like I don't. I've had pretty good self control, I would say. Like I know what's going on, but I do have a high tolerance. So
Okay. Have you ever been treated for alcohol or drug abuse in your lifetime?
treated for
Alcohol or drug abuse?
no.
Now, how much money would you say in the past 30 days have you spent on alcohol?
Um, Man, I'd probably say like um, probably like $200, close to $200.
Okay, 200. And on drugs?
Probably close to the same amount.
Okay. In the past 30 days, have you experienced any sort of alcohol or drug problems like cravings or withdrawal symptoms, disturbing effects when you use them, or the desire of wanting to stop and not being able to?
Yeah, I would say that I'm pretty irritable if I don't smoke.
Okay. Um, Now, how troubled or bothered have you been by any of these alcohol or drug problems in the past 30 days on a scale of 0 to 4?
How triggered have I been?
No, how troubled or bothered?
Doubled, I'm sorry. Um, how troubled have I been? I would say probably about like half the time. Like, I don't really like to get bothered unless I like get to do my thing. And then fine after that.
Um, so on a scale of 0 to 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could barely like hear you, so I'm trying to like piece together what you're saying. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I would say like a 2,
Okay,
like
a
half
2.
the time.
Okay, and is that for alcohol or drugs? I'm sorry.
Both.
Okay, both about a 2. And now, how important is it to you for treatment for both of these, alcohol and drugs?
Um, I mean, it would help me save money, but I'm not really like feel like I'm young and I don't really think I'm doing anything wrong, so
Okay.
not that important to me. I think I need more help with like other stuff than this.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, we have quite a bit more to get to, so that's totally understandable. On a scale of 0 to 4, however, how would you relate um, the importance of this for treatment, for alcohol, for drugs? Just a 2 again?
A 2, yeah.
Okay, 2 again. Perfect. All right. Thanks again, Ashley. We're going to move on now to just some legal history. Um, are you currently on probation or parole?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been charged with shoplifting,
No.
parole,
Nope.
drug charges,
Nope.
forgery?
No.
Okay. Weapons offense,
Mm-mm.
robbery,
No.
assault,
No.
arson,
Nope.
homicide, manslaughter, prostitution?
No.
Okay. Um, Perfect. Do you feel you have any serious issues present in your life with legal problems? Scale of 0 to 4.
Legal problems?
Mm-hmm.
With drugs?
No, just in general, with everything we kind of just went over. Just a scale of 0 to 4 on how important any legal problems are with you. I know we just kind of went through and said you've had none, but just to kind of get the rating for this section, just to get good comprehensive.
0.
0?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, now into family history. Do you have any blood relatives that you would call significant drinkers, drug use, or that have had psychiatric problems? I do know that you did indicate on your assessment from last week that you have had a history of depression in your family, family members with psychiatric, that have been treated with psychiatric medications like antidepressants. So just give me a little bit more information on that, and if there's been any significant usage of any kinds of drugs or alcohol or psychiatric problems in your family history.
I mean, my dad was kind of an alcoholic, I would say, growing up.
Okay.
And my mom was on antidepressants when she was younger.
Alrighty. Any other instances?
I mean, just them two, really. I mean, my grandma, like, drank too when my mom was growing up, but that was on, like, my mom's side, so.
Okay, your mom's side, grandmother. It wasn't heavy or anything like that, though.
I would say it was almost daily, so yeah, kind of.
Okay, daily use. And you said your father was kind of an alcoholic and your mother was on antidepressants. Alrighty. Well, thank you for that information. Looking on to some information about your family and social relationships. So I know you said you were going through it with your on again, off again boyfriends. So would you classify yourself as single right now, or how would you classify your relationship status?
I would say single.
Okay, single. And how long have you been going through this whole case scenario with your on again, off again boyfriend? About how long has it been?
About 2 years or so.
Okay. And is that when you would say a lot of your disorganization and everything that we kind of went over last time, your self-esteem and everything like that, would you say that's kind of when all of those feelings began?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your current living situation?
Yes. Let's go with yes.
Okay. So tell me about your living situation. Like your typical routine. spare
I
time?
live alone.
Okay, you live alone. And how long have you lived alone?
Since like a year ago.
Okay, so 1 year. And are you satisfied with that? You happy?
Yeah, I mean, it's stressful being able to afford everything on your own, but
Hmm. Absolutely. Um, so who do you spend most of your free time with?
um, I don't really have a lot of friends, so I don't really hang out with anybody, to be honest.
Okay. Are you satisfied with that? Do you wish that was different?
I wish it was different. Like, I still have my cousin that I'm really close to that I kind of talked about last time, but he has a girlfriend and he has a kid, so
Mm-hmm.
I try to respect that he needs his time with his family, but
Sure. Um, how many close friends would you say that you have?
what did you say? I'm sorry.
How many close friends would you say that you have?
Um, I would say like two or three.
Okay, 2 or 3. Have you had any significant periods which you've experienced serious problems with getting along with any of your family members, your mother, father, brother, sisters, your sexual partner, friends, neighbors, coworkers, any of those in the last 30 days?
Yes.
Okay, and which ones?
Mm, my dad. My, I would say my dad, my mom, mostly.
Okay. Um, your sexual partner, your on again, off again
Oh,
boyfriends?
yeah, him too. Of course, him. It's like the main person who I have problems with.
Okay. And then in your life, any significant
I've
periods with any others?
always had problems with my family, so that's always kind of been a problem, an issue in my life.
Okay. Um, tell me a little bit about that.
Um, I don't know. I'm the youngest, so I just think that they just have like unrealistic expectations of me.
Sure. How has that kind of had a role in your life and your emotions now?
Mm, I would say that I feel like I am like my own worst critic. Like I'm kind of self doubtful, and I'm just really hard on myself. So when I don't get things right, I feel like it just kind of I carry it further and further and further than it really needs to be.
Perfect. Yeah, unrealistic expectations can be definitely something difficult to live with, especially when they're people that you want to, make happy. Have you had any serious conflicts with your family or with any other people in the last 30 days?
Mm, no.
Okay. Your on again, off again boyfriend in the last 30 days?
We're always fighting, so pretty much, yeah.
And this is still a current thing, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, were you ever abused emotionally, physically, or sexually in the past 30 days?
Not in the past 30 days, like, no.
Okay. In your lifetime, emotionally, physically, or sexually?
Um, yeah, like with my dad and stuff, like um, him and I used to get into it a lot when I was a teenager, and I would say that it's pretty like emotionally abusive. I think that's kind of why I have problems like with boyfriends because
Mhm.
it kind of trickles into.
Okay. That's great that you see a connection there. Um, would you mind giving me a little bit more information on what you went through with your dad as a teenager? Some of the circumstances of that?
I mean, he would get like really mean when he would drink.
Okay.
So we used to argue about that because I just wanted him to leave me alone, really.
Hmm. Sorry to hear that. And you said that was just physically correct or emotionally as well, right?
I would say more like emotionally. Like he didn't really like physically abuse me, but I think like the emotional stuff really took a toll of me. Took a toll on me a little more.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, how troubled or bothered have you been in the last 30 days with family problems on a scale of 0 to 4?
Triggered or bothered. Um, like a two.
A 2? Social problems?
Same thing.
And how important is it for you now for treatment or counseling for these?
I'd say a four.
And for social problems?
Same thing, about a four.
Okay. Sounds like it's pretty important for you. It's good to know. And thanks for your honesty throughout that as well. All right, so last section here. I appreciate your patience through all of this and answering all these questions. It is going to be helpful in the long run. So the last one we're just going to go over real quick is the psychiatric status. Have you ever been treated in an inpatient setting in a hospital for psychiatric?
No.
Okay. Services. Okay. Have you ever experienced serious depression in the past 30 days?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think like earlier I kind of like misunderstood what you meant with like the scale of like 0 to 4, with like how things are going with me and my fam or like my social stuff.
Sure.
Like all of that, I think I'm just kind of like having a hard time adding like my family with my relationship stuff because I just think that those are two completely different like spectrums. I think I like
Sure.
kind of confuse those. So I just wanted to kind of like go back and reiterate that I feel like those are completely two different sides of me. Like me with my family and like me with my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend. I think that like yeah, I have problems with my family, but like that's my family and they're always going to be there and I feel like there's always going to be problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like that's normal that every family has problems. Like we're not all perfect.
Sure.
Nobody has a perfect family. But I feel like as far as my relationship, even early on to a relationship it was really toxic. So I would say that it's a little bit more severe on that end. So I just wanted to
Absolutely.
make that clear.
Okay. So you're saying like family problems still like about a 2, but then the social problems, um, like your boyfriend and everything like that, your ex-boyfriend, about a 4 then?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
would
about
say
right?
so. I just think it's
Okay.
kind of strange that they like put that all together. Like I think family, friends, and boyfriend. Like I feel like those are just everybody's different. Like you don't really have like the same space for every single person that you're close to in your life. I
Mm-hmm.
think that we're different with our romantic partners than we are with our families. Like I think that families are more so permanent, obviously, than relationships.
Definitely. Um, so yeah, so that section was really just based off of family and social relationships.
Okay.
So it was including kind of both of them. So if there was any confusion there, I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Hopefully, um, do you think there's anywhere else we should kind of reiterate your answers, or do you think it was really just that last part about um, asking you how much you felt you needed treatment for those aspects of your life? So is that all you really wanted to kind of go over? Or were there any other answers that were kind of off in that misconception?
No, I think mostly just there, just because like that's pretty much why I'm here. Like, I can't really like go to therapy for my family stuff. I think that like all of us would need to kind of contribute to that. Whereas like me with
Sure.
my with my boyfriend problems, I think that like that's a little bit more to an extreme
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. So
Okay.
I think that's kind of more that I'm here for. So
Okay. Um, okay, that makes sense. Sounds good. Change those. Um, okay. So then back to just the psychiatric stuff. Have you ever we were talking about serious depression experience in the past 30 days.
I would say pretty severe. So how often?
In the last 30 days, yes.
Like almost every day.
Okay. In your lifetime?
I would say since I was 16.
Okay, 16 years old. Serious anxiety or tension in the last 30 days and in your lifetime?
Not the same as like the previous answer.
Okay. Any trouble understanding, concentrating, or remembering in the past 30 days or your lifetime?
Okay, can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Any trouble understanding, concentrating, or remembering?
Within the last 30 days, yeah.
Okay. About how many times?
All the time. I would say like majority of the time. Like every day.
Okay, every day. Okay, any serious thoughts of suicide or attempted suicide in the last 30 days or in your lifetime?
No.
Okay, not at all. That's great to know. Um, and then just overall, how often have you been troubled or bothered by these psychological and emotional problems in the last 30 days on a scale of 0 to 4?
Say a 4. I think that's why my smoking is continuously getting worse.
Okay, definitely. And then how important is treatment for you now for these psychological problems, 0 to 4?
A 4.
Perfect. Alrighty. Awesome. I appreciate you sticking with me all the way through that, Ashley. I know that was long, but it was great to have your honesty throughout those answers and just to kind of get a better picture of you and your history, family, socially, medically, legally, all of those aspects. It's just gonna help us paint a better picture to create a more conducive treatment plan with together with both of our hopes and getting you to where you envision yourself. So that's all for today, and I look forward to meeting with you again and really coming up with a way to start initiating all of these after getting all of this information about you. And until then, I hope you do well, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Bye-bye.